In the first paragraph, the writer is talking about how startup companies are raising money and how to make the success. Actually, in China, do we have a lot of students who are thinking about start up their own company?
Well, I've heard about some graduates in our university running their own business today, and some students from the departments like economics and management and the computer science and also the School of Art.
So are they successful?
Well, they are really facing some difficulties, including the scarce profit and the fierce competition. And also, when their business comes to a later stage, it's hard to get funding from the venture capitals.
Well, actually, I've heard of that because of our country's policy of encouraging college students to start up their own companies. Many universities invest a lot to help students to have their new companies. Just take my university as an example. In Tsinghua, there are a program called X-Lab. In this program, students can receive useful advice from the mentors, and also they can receive a lot of investment from this program.
Okay, I heard about this program. I remember it started about a year ago, and even the president of Tsinghua University come to celebrate its beginning, and I hope students really will benefit from this program. In the second paragraph, it is a fact that most new businessmen realized their business may fail. Actually, there are many studies on this issue. For example, in 1921, Frank has noticed that some businessmen seem to specialize in risk-taking. So how do we understand risk-taking?
I think this expression is half right, since these business people, when they are running their own companies, they are always willing to and have the courage to take risks. But in daily life, they are just like the ordinary people, risk averse.
Well, I understand that when people take risks and jump out of their comfortable zone, and they may achieve some success, in this situation, they may be very confident. But if they overconfident, they may make some mistakes.
So even successful businessmen may be too confident, so they may end up in failure, right? So from this paragraph, we realized we should take risk, but at the same time, we should keep a very low profile. Try to listen to suggestions made by our friends, by our partners, and by other businessmen. In this paragraph, the writer has mentioned several concepts like angel investing and fishermen go fishing in the ocean. Here, the fisherman refers to businessmen. I wonder why the writer used this metaphor to refer to businessmen doing business in the business world.
I think it's a concept of the incurably optimistic. It means that if all of the fishermen are very confident to have a big catch, none of them will be successful because the resources are limited. Also in the business field, if all of the businessmen are very confident, none of them will be very successful because the resources are limited, so none of them will be successful.
But in addition, I still think that this overconfidence is inevitable for the business people, or they will lose the basic courage to make the first step.
Okay, we are saying starting a business, you need to be confident, but keep it going. You need also to be confident and try to find all the resources available. But actually, there may not be enough resource for everybody. This paragraph talks about people's attitude towards failure. There is an expression, fail fast, fail often. I wonder how do we understand this sentence?
Well, I think this expression is very meaningful, since when you are young, you are much more capable to bear the pressure of failure. But for a middle-aged man or an old man, It's too hard for him to bear this pressure. So I think it's very beneficial for a person to experience some failure when he is young.
Actually, I can agree with this view because if people use the wrong pattern, it's really hard for them to change their pattern. So that means that if you fail in one way, it's really easy for you to fail again in the future.
So we cannot come to the conclusion whether your early failure may end up in your future success or not. Right. There's no confidence for that. There's no evidence to show your early failure may end up in future success. In the last paragraph, the writer has mentioned many investors would prefer to invest on a lot of similar companies. I wonder, why don't they do the homework and choose wisely before they make investment?
Well, actually, the investors cannot identify which companies will survive in advance. So it's wise to invest on many similar companies. And once a few ones survive and hit big, the final rebounding profit will be enormous.
Well, I think that the Facebook is a very perfect example.
Yes.
In the last sentence of this paragraph, the writer has referred to paradox. It seems that failure can be a misfortune for individual companies. But why does he say it can be a fortune for a society in general?
Because it corresponds to the natural selection. In the business field, all of the technical progress of the failures can work as the fertilizer to benefit the survivors. So in this process, it can benefit to the evolution of the whole society.
And in addition, we know that the losers have tried many of the wrong directions, so they can also function as a guidance for the followers.
So the writer is saying failures actually contributed to one's success. Even the losers is really contributors of our future success, right?
Yeah.
A startup refers to a small business that has just been started.
A catch means a hidden problem or disadvantage. There is a catch means there is a hidden problem.
As Gideon Louis Krauss shows in No Exit, a new company may be short-lived and rough, as it may face many challenges for survival. Brutish means rough, unpleasant, and often violent. Cambrian refers to the period of time between about 543 and 490 million years ago. Both Cambrian explosion and mass extinction indicate that the survival of new companies is difficult.
A study was conducted in 1988. In this study, out of about 3,000 businessmen, 81% of them think that their businesses have at least 70% chance of success. About a third thought that they will never fail. This number is not related to what really happens. Entrepreneur refers to someone who starts their own business, especially when this involves seeing a new opportunity.
At the same time, so many businessmen firmly believe that they will succeed. This actually makes their competition fiercer. Consequently, none of them can easily succeed.
Seed money is money that is given to someone to help them start a new business or project. Early on means during an early stage. It becomes easier for entrepreneurs who have got many good comments and feedbacks at the beginning to develop a product and get seed money.
On top of something refers to in addition to something, especially something unpleasant. In addition to this, a popular tendency is that many treat failure as a sign of honor.
This message tries to make people feel comfortable, but the real fact is that more evidence shows that your failure in the past may predict that you may go on to fail again in the future.
Because we don't know how to find good companies in advance, investors may stop funding many companies. These investors are hoping that a few companies they invest on will develop rapidly and become big companies. Hit it big means to develop into big companies.